I mean, what happened to MCA? MCA were like, back in the early 90s, MCA were the label to be on. There was no other label that compared to them. Then you had, up until, the late 90s even, MCA was the R&B mecca, if you will.
Yeah.
And then what happened to MCA? I mean, you were the A&R guy there. What happened? Because you had the Jodeci album, which was meant to come out, back end of 99, 2000, same time the Guy album came out. What happened to that album?
Well, you know what happened? They all really got consumed with the success that I had with the Casey and JoJo record. Because at the time, when Casey and JoJo was just about to pop with All My Life hadn't come out. We were still on Last Night's Letter. And at that point, I wanted to put Jodeci back in the studio, complete a record, and ride on the tail of the success of Casey and JoJo. The president at the time didn't feel like it was necessary because he wanted to have another Casey and JoJo record. And, we lost that whole momentum. We could have came from that Casey and JoJo record after selling 5 million to a brand new Jodeci record again. Basically, I had the whole concept that they had with New Edition. Break these guys up and then bring them back together for this 1 or 2 major big records and then do it all over again. They didn't understand the concept. So they lost that. The Guy record, I went in with Teddy and completed that record with them. And when the album was done, Teddy was too busy to go out and support the record. Aaron and Damon were ready to go. But Teddy was producing stuff for NSYNC. And then, so once again, you have a Guy album, i.e. like the Jodeci album was, with no real group. And the people didn't believe it. The people didn't believe it. So that's where the problem came from.
So internal politics. You mentioned Jodeci coming out with a new album soon. Will you be involved in the new Jodeci album?
No, I'm not going to be involved in it. I know Devontae wants to play me some stuff, so while I'm here in California, I'm going to try to make it by his studio to listen to the stuff he's doing. I haven't heard anything. I had started working on the album about maybe 3 years ago. I started working on the album 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were getting some headway with it. Casey and them were still doing dates here and there, so they couldn't be in the studio all the time. And then, of course, NCA closed. And, he continued to do some things with Jimmy at Interscope, but they never really completed a record. So I won't be involved with this particular album, but I'm pretty sure some of the songs that I was working on while they were there, they will probably be using on the project.
Do you think this album will actually come out this time? Because, since 95, which was the last album they came out with, and you've been heavily involved with them since the beginning of their career, since 95, there's been rumors about Jodeci coming back and, coming out with an album. In 99, you were responsible for Casey and JoJo's X album. You mentioned that Jodeci would come out with new tracks. They had 2 tracks on that album. Do you think this time actually a full album will come out for the public to buy?
I would like to hope so. You run into the whole the genius of Devontae, who wants to make this perfect album, which, like I've told him a couple times, a perfect album doesn't exist. The perfect album only happens when the people say it does, and I just hope that he can just let the project go. He's really close-knit with the project. He's really holding on to it, and I would like to be optimistic about it and say I believe the record will come out because they have made a great effort at now going out and doing shows together at a time when it would just be Dalvin, Casey, and JoJo and no Devontae. These guys are starting to come together, so hopefully we can get a project from these guys before the year is out. Because I know they have a bunch of songs done.
Okay. What was the favorite track that you performed? And also your favorite track that you worked on?
My favorite track that I performed, You Called and Told Me. I love that one.
That was my favorite too.
I also love the fact that, the cover I did of I Found Lovin', that was so crazy because it was originally done by the Fatback Band.
Yeah.
And, everywhere you go, people say, when they hear the record, they say it's a Jeff Red record. So that really was kind of funny to me. And the record that I love working on the most probably was on myself was probably this new song that I'm coming out is titled, like I said, Hold On, which I recorded the record like about a year or so ago, and I just sat on it and listened to it over and over again. And I wrote it at a time when I was going through something and just trying to get through it, and that's why, the whole thing, I titled it the song Hold On. So
how would you describe this song?
This song is a very inspirational song, not a gospel or church song, but it's very inspirational. It's a song that I wrote with my cousin, Reggie Huggins, who, when I was writing it, I needed to get through. I was going through a lot of things, and, I wrote this song to get me through it, and it did. And I know if this song got me through it, I know it's going to take a lot of other people through it. Because, right now you have a lot of people losing their jobs. There are a lot of people, trying to find shelter. A lot of people seeking to just keep a roof over their head. And, you just got to hold on. And you cannot give up. Life is going to be about those obstacles. And you have to be focused and do not give up. You must hold on. So, to date, I would say this is like my most prized possession of my own. The other stuff that I really enjoy, of course, is the Black Rose record, which is, like I said, it's very reminiscent of Jode meets the Dramatics. This guy's voice is something that you haven't heard a voice like Rose in probably 15, 20 years. And, just making the record last year and putting all the mixing and stuff together this year, it's been very, very, very spiritual to me, and I really feel good about this record, this Black Rose featuring Who's Who's record, and the Forever record, which is very reminiscent, like I said, of Prince meets Al Green with a dash of the Delphonics. This guy has that voice that does well, and I have him performing a lot in Atlanta.
Sounds exciting.
It's very exciting, man. Music is my life, and if it's not moving me spiritually, I can't do it. That's why I haven't put out a bunch of things. Because if you look at what I've put out over the years, man, it's been things that have been significant. And I refuse just to put out anything. And that's why I was a little glad that MCA did go away, because at some point they were beginning to tarnish what was a legacy. So it was actually better for it to go away, because now the way the industry's set up now is just not right. It's not right. It has to, like they say, it has to reboot itself and upload the feel back into the music.
Jeff, you seem very positive. You seem very upbeat about all this. So, do you?
But you know why, Vijay? Because it's not. It's the power of the universe. Everything is 360 degrees. We're back to the beginning when the independent labels like Motown popped up in the 60s. And Stax Records popped up. Chess Records popped up. Philly International came in the 70s. And these guys were just making records that didn't have anything to do with radio, that didn't have anything to do with anything. And that's the type of records you have to have. We have this beautiful device called the Internet. And when I send you this music, it's not just people in London or Amsterdam. It's people all over the world can get this music. So it's a beautiful thing, man. The record industry as we know it no longer exists. They're playing. They're really just playing right now, trying to figure out what to do, because they cannot sustain the way it's going now. So it's back to the beginning where they're going to have to reach these independent labels for direction. They're going to have to reach out to these people that are out here doing shows like I do with Love Life / So Real, with all these people from Terrence Blanchard to Allison Williams coming through, because they want to feel that real music and get the immediate response from the audience. They want all that stuff. And these labels have set up all these research departments inside to find what I'm doing, to find out about this Love Life So Real situation, to find out about all these little small pockets of things that's going on because they have no idea.